What's going on, everybody? Stained Glass Assassin. I totally missed this article a couple days ago, but better late than never. This article talks about the upcoming fourth installment of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek series. And there's some interesting information about this, or in this article, mainly the fact that they have decided to bring on some big names, if you will, or names that have been kind of circulating in Hollywood recently. And one of those names is the Matt Shakman, or Shakeman, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. He was the director of Wandavision. And they're also going to be bringing on two female writers, one of them being Lindsay Beer, which I'm not really familiar with. I haven't seen much on her Internet Movie Database background to know who she was. But of course, the name Geneva Robertson Doré, I think that's how you pronounce it. She did the Tomb Raider and Captain Marvel movies. Now, of course, when it comes to WandaVision, I wasn't a huge fan of the show. I'm not saying it was all the director's fault. Obviously, he had a part in it, but if we're going just based off of WandaVision, that doesn't leave me with a lot of hope. Again, I don't know much about Lindsay Beer. She could be good. Like I said, I haven't seen anything on her Internet Movie Database history that I have seen, so I'm not going to, give any criticism on that. But, man, Captain Marvel, that was just a dog turd wrapped in another dog turd. And although I did see Tomb Raider, it had action, but that wasn't that good either. That's why, I didn't even realize that they released Tomb Raider until I saw a review on it online. Then I went and watched it, and it was just blah. It just wasn't that good. So if that's going to be the director and that's going to be the writer, that could make for a bumpy combination for this movie, So we'll just have to wait and see. I will say, first and foremost, I know that being a card-carrying geek that I'm not supposed to like this Star Trek series, but I actually enjoyed Abrams' Star Trek. Now, a disclaimer, I enjoyed it in a bubble. There have been plenty of novels and comics, based off of Star Trek and based off of canonized events and characters, but they're not actually canon. So I enjoyed those for what they were. I enjoyed this movie series for what it was. I don't associate it with anything with canon or any of the actual Star Trek, legacy. I just view it as a different take, kind of like an Elseworlds or a What If you will. But I like the action. I like Chris Pine. I like some of the other actors that were in there. So it has its faults. I'm not going to say it's some kind of tour de force, but overall I enjoyed it. The article goes on to even talk about that. It says while the entire series of Kelvin Timeline Star Trek movies has thus far been okay, they haven't resonated with hardcore Trek audience. With the hardcore Trek audience, the way that the original series or Next Generation era movies did. And sure, I get that. Like I said, there's plenty of differences, obviously, with the technology, some big deviations from the script, obviously. But again, if I'm looking at it from a non-canonical type of aspect, I really enjoyed it. So I don't care. I'm actually happy that a fourth one's coming out. But if these names are attached to the film, I'm not so sure it's going to be that great. I'll wait to see some trailers. I'll read some reviews about going on, but there was a little bit of a disclaimer here that had me worried because, the closing paragraph here says, however, I wouldn't hold my breath as it's possible that audiences could be looking at a potential woke bomb, as when speaking of Beer and Robertson, their attachment, Deadline touted that this project is the first Star Trek film to be written by female screenwriters. We just got done seeing what happened with Kevin Smith's He-Man. We know what's going on with the whole woke culture. So if this movie stays away from that, or even if it's just a little bit of woke, it could still be good. But I got a bad feeling that, Captain Kirk will be pushed out of the show, and, Uhura will have to take command of the ship, or, Captain Kirk will just become a punchline, an embarrassment of him former self, or I don't know. So I saw this article, and I had a little bit of worry. But I'm still hopeful because, like I said, I did enjoy the series thus far. So maybe the fourth one will just kind of end on a high note or at least end on a less woke note. But if these names are to be kind of heading up the project, we could have some bumpy, we could be in, for a bumpy ride. So I guess I'll just wait and see what's going on. Take a look at some of the reviews and articles. But I don't know. Like I said, this one kind of completely passed me by. But I wanted to touch upon that real quick. So what do you think? Are you a fan of the Kelvin universe? I am. Did you like certain aspects of it? Are you excited about a fourth one, or do you think it's going to be just kind of another, woke entry into the geek culture that we've seen, with like so many others? Let me know what you think down in the comments. While you're there, like and subscribe so you know when the next video comes out. And until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.